SoccerBeat, host.
What's up? Umjaka here for SoccerBeat. It's what's up Friday, and I'm hanging out with the Madala, the man,
Hey.
the myth, the legend, Peter Dutoy, to talk training stories because it's Friday, and Friday is all about talk, Peter. You know, the people are talking, and you guys are doing us. You are doing us, I don't know, a major boost. We are headed to 30,000 subscribers. The needle is moving because of you. You guys are actively subscribing and participating and commenting and engaging with us. Please continue. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell so that you can get notified anytime I'm going to hang out with the Madala to drop some bombs for you for the weekend to chew on. Also use our promo code SoccerBeat to join Betway. You get $25 extra for free nje mahala yako. Pete, lots going on in the streets, and we had to choose the ones that people most talking about. Of course, Gavin Hunt. I've got Riveiro's contract here, Pete. Of course, Bafana Bafana. So the man, the myth, the legend will take us through that journey. Pete, let's start with Riveiro. Daughter,
Listen,
we are doing our digging, but we know your digging is much better.
Thank you, Sizwe. First of all, congratulations. A great interview you did with Mabasa yesterday. And I tell everybody out there, can watch that interview. Really, I found it very enjoyable, very interesting, and well done. So, Sizwe, also a little easy on the Madala. I'm not that older. Anyway, guys, so as Sizwe says, two big stories, the Gavin Hunt situation and the Jose Rivera contract talk situation. We obviously talk about the Bafana game. But Sizwe, I can tell you, and I can tell you all the viewers out there, we will get Mushin Ertugrol exclusively on SoccerBeat this week coming. That I can promise you. We'll give you the ins and outs. I know the ins and outs of that entire story. And I've just spoken to Gavin. He's devastated about what's happened. And even though we had Gavin last week, I think we'll get Gavin on again, and maybe with him and Mushin have been talking about their situations. But so look out for that for next week, Sizwe. Guys, so right, should we address the Rivera situation first, Sizwe?
Let's go Rivero first. Yeah, Pete, I'm sure, because the Pirates fans want to know what their plans are for next season.
Well, so Pirates fans out there and all South African football fans out there, in particular, obviously all of you are SoccerBeat fans, are really grateful for that. So, and again, as Sizwe says, the subscribe button is where you show your appreciation, and thank you. So let's look at the Jose situation. First of all, Pirates fans, by and large, the vast majority are big fans of Jose and acknowledge the super job he's done and the way the team plays and what they're challenging the trophies won. So there's actual fan support. And I think that's critical for Orlando Pirates to take cognizance of. But we're going to talk you through the situation. And guys, I'd like to hear your opinion in the comments column. But we're going to talk facts, absolute facts. And the facts are his contract comes to an end at the end of this current season. And it's very simple. He's either going to stay or he's going to go. And let's look at the facts surrounding that. The first fact, contract comes to an end. Now, there are a couple of questions that have got to be asked and points that have got to be raised that'll give you an idea of what's going to happen. The first question is to be asked is, why has that not been addressed already? And that's an important question, guys. And just think logically about it. If the club absolutely wanted him to stay, and he absolutely wanted to stay, that deal would have been sorted out now. They would have gone, listen, I want to stay for next season. No matter what happens this season, I want to stay. And Pirates would say, we want you to stay as well. And they would announce and say, and that would take out all the uncertainty. All the uncertainty would leave. So the fact that there is some uncertainty is not good in one way, but it's not bad in another way. It's not good because if there was absolute certainty, that box gets closed, the players understand, he understands, the fans understand, and everybody moves forward. But the fact that it hasn't been done is not necessarily negative, and let's look at the reasons why it has not been done. And the main reason is, I think, because Jose himself is not certain that he wants to continue. Now, and he wants to be able to reassess the situation at the end of the season. He's been here a long time in football coaching terms. What we do know is that this is a stressful job, but all coaching jobs are a stressful job, but in particular Pirates, because you're trying to catch Sundowns and there's high expectations. So it is a stressful job. He has told people close to us and people that are knowing the game that he is tired and he needs a rest and he needs a break.
And Pete, I don't wanna cut you. And he does need a break. It's 120 matches, more than Ruud Krol. 120 matches at Pirates is no child's play. Continue, Pete.
And listen, there's a lot of stress involved in this. So even though he's not running around the field, the mental tiredness, the mental stress is a big issue at big clubs like Pirates. And, you know, even people like Pep took a season off. So it's not like he's got another job lined up. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that his family is not with him. And it's unlikely that his family is going to come and live in South Africa. And that is a major factor in this exercise. In fact, that could well be, guys out there, the factor. Because he's been without his family for a long time. It is very difficult to be away from your family as long as he has. So if there's going to be a deciding factor, I think this is going to be the deciding factor, quite frankly. Let's look at also his bargaining situation, though. If they win the CAF Champions League and they win the Nedbank Cup, that is going to put him in an exceptionally good bargaining position for a new contract, far higher than his current contract. So maybe it's also a bit of gambling on Riveiro's side to say, look, let me see what I deliver. And if I deliver that, pay me enough money to make me able to say to my family and the stress and the tiredness, let's go for another season. That's the one. However, the flip side of that is Israel, that if he wins the Nedbank Cup and he wins the CAF, or just wins the CAF, he could say, guys, let's end this on a high. To beat this is almost impossible. I can't take on Sundowns in the league. There's no certainty there. And I've done this, and I'm tired. I've given you the biggest gift of all, the Champions League. Let's call it quits. I also know from people who tell me who are close to him that a challenge, he feels he's proved himself in South Africa, and a bigger challenge could possibly await him in Europe. So there's also that personal challenge. That's from his side. Let's look at it from Pirates' side. Now, from a Pirates' point of view, is quite simple.
Sure.
Discussing contracts now could be a distraction, because you start debating the contract and you're not agreeing. Well, then you could distract and derail everything, because one disagreement in this contract negotiations can upset the coach. So is it worthwhile getting into a contract situation now at these crucial points, rather to say to the coach? Sorry, yes.
And Peter, we do know how emotional some of these kind of contracts, and I mean these kind of contracts at Orlando Pirates are. These kind of contracts are key contracts. We've seen them collapse and we've seen them successfully done, but we know the stress of what. So basically, I'm totally understanding the stress involved in having to sit down around the table at this time.
So just think about it. If they get into a contract negotiation, it's all about expectation. Pirates could come in with an offer that they would think is very generous, and his expectation could be far higher. And just that misunderstanding, which under normal circumstances after the season could be discussed without the distraction and the stresses, this could turn everything to turmoil. That, you don't like me, what am I doing here, and so on and so on. So that's a big point from Pirates' side. Let's not get into contract. Let's not distract things. At the end of the season, we know where we stand with the Nedbank Cup. We know where we stand with the league. We know where we stand with CAF. And without a doubt, he's a popular coach, and they're happy with him. But it would give them a far better idea from their side what is worth going forward, and from his side, is it worth taking it forward? So I think on that side, it's good. And also, by the way, it gives Pirates a clearer bargaining position, because they could say, well, you didn't win the Nedbank, you didn't win the CAF, you didn't win the league. We still got a long way to go. Or you won the CAF, you won the Nedbank, and you came second in the league. You deserve X. So everything's on the table at the end of the season. So I think Pirates fans, don't stress about this. It's okay that it's going to be done at the end of the season, but it would have been better, in my opinion, if this was all done in January, before the second half of the season started. But obviously, I don't think Riveiro was ready for this, with too many other issues on the table. So I think it's going to be interesting. Bear in mind, by the way, that Krol won the treble and didn't stay.
And didn't stay.
In an interview at Soccer Doom with Krol, and he said he didn't even have a thank you at the end of the season. So there's a lot that happens behind the scenes, but I think the Krol relationship with Pirates it's a very different relationship to Riveiro's relationship with Pirates. I think
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
maybe they didn't see eye to eye on certain issues with the Kroll issue. Otherwise, he certainly would have had a thank you and a well done. So that's the Riveiro thing, guys out there. We will keep on top of this continuously, and anything new comes up, be sure to you'll see it on our next trending show. Sizwe, you want to move on
Pete,
to a
to
promo?
Gavin Hunt. And please also to we're gonna get to Bafana. So this man is still got his notes. He's only going to page 2, guys. We just did page 1, which was Riveiro. Check out our promo. SoccerBeat is the promo code to use. You get $25. But check this out to get more details.
How would you like to win a little something extra just for joining the best in the game? For a limited time, we are teaming up with Betway and giving all of you access to a SoccerBeat exclusive. If you join Betway using the sign-up code SoccerBeat, now in March, you'll get 25 Rand extra bet. That's right. It's time to get way more out of every bet. Standard T's and C's apply.
That's right, guys. $25 just for using the promo code SoccerBeat. And do please subscribe. As I said, the needle is moving. You guys have responded so ever so kindly to our plea to subscribe. We are headed to 30K, and it's all because of you. So please tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe to SoccerBeat. Gavin Hunt, Pete. Yeah, surprised a little bit because it's a big name. Can't imagine, SuperSport United finding a similar coach profile, like Gavin Hunt. They don't come very easy.
Let me tell you something, Sizwe. I'm not surprised. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. I can tell all the viewers out there. I've just been in contact with Gavin. He's devastated. I can tell you right now, Gavin Hunt did not see this coming, and I don't blame him for not seeing this coming. You've got to look at a couple of points here. Number one, his history with that club, the trophies they won with the club. Yes, today football is about today and not about yesterday. But the record he's got with the club, from a trophy point of view, is something that should be respected. The second point is, if you look at these last few seasons and previous seasons, the amount of players that he's developed for SuperSport that have been sold, never mind to other clubs, just to Sundowns. So he's brought the club in a fortune of money. Now, he didn't want to sell any of those players. Apollos was with him, Weber was with him, etc., etc. All these Maseko and so on.
Yeah.
He didn't want to sell these players. These are players that the club elected to sell, and he had to keep bringing in new youngsters. So the club made a fortune out of him. When you keep selling your best players, it's a lottery in getting new players out because you keep having to rebuild. And you've seen it with Santos and Morocco Swallows. Santos won the league. Gulamali kept selling their best players and bringing in players that he had hoped would turn into their best players, but they were not. You've got to be like a Brighton in England, that you've already identified the players that you're bringing in before you sell. That's not been the case. It's gone, okay, let's scramble for other players. Then you've got to throw in the mix with Gavin as well, that he lost the Schleier, he sent it back, experienced player, Nagaman, their best midfielder, all for long periods, and Krobler for long periods. So you've taken the entire spine out of the team, and it literally had to build a new team this season. They're just beaten Kaiser Chiefs, hammered them. What, 4-1 was the score? I can't remember.
Yeah,
see so many
4-1.
games. So an upset, yes, they lost the next game, but this is a season that was SuperSport kind of rebuilding, getting their act together, and they would have moved, in my opinion, to the top 8 or certainly 9th position and be very safe. There's been no discussion with Gavin, and to me that should have been the way he learnt about this. First of all, via a breaking story in one of the newspapers or one of the websites.
Yes.
That's not how you treat somebody with your club so long. The thing gets leaked, because that was a proper leak.
Yes.
These things, he hadn't spoken to the club. He did not know. At the time that leak went out, I can tell you all out there categorically, Gavin Hunt did not know. For him to read on a website, well, actually, in fact, he got it from me first. I said, Gavin, this is the rumor going around. Have you heard anything? Well, I said, it's out there on social media. I've heard nothing. That was yesterday. We then heard, much later, basically just before the press release, and obviously it's a devastating way for it to leak. So
find out,
SuperSport have handled this well, but at the end of the day, it just tells you that football is a game of no mercy, absolutely no mercy. So Andre Aronson, who's done very well as Gavin's assistant, and Grant Johnson also done very well. They will be taking the team going forward. There's no obvious replacements, and I wouldn't be surprised if Andre gets the job on a permanent basis. And I wouldn't be surprised, incidentally, that this thing is motivated by money. Because if you look at, and this is what I'm saying, I haven't discussed this with Gavin, but I will, is that if you look at SuperSport, what they've done continuously, season after season, and it's a dangerous process, have reduced their wage bill. And I can assure you, Gavin was probably on a good package or fair package, and they've taken that huge bill out of their wage bill. And I wouldn't be surprised. This whole thing is not about but about reducing the wage bill from SuperSport, because it's been happening throughout the season. It's been happening over the last 6 months. But I would warn SuperSport that this is what happened to Santos, and they're not in the league anymore. Gavin Hunt will get another job. You know, it's interesting. He may end up having a Cape Town City job, even though Musamertigal's gone, and we know Ulderdink is supposedly coming in.
Yeah.
But you never know. So
it's
Gavin
football,
will get
Peter.
another job in
It's Mzansi. Who would have said Mangoba? Who would have said Mangoba would be back at Golden Arrows?
Correct. So this is the game of the merry-go-round of South African football, or world football for that matter, if you're a coach. It's what happens. It's a kind of love-hate relationship. Gavin is out. SuperSport will probably keep Andre, who's obviously been his assistant for a long time, and he'll probably that continuation. But if they keep selling players, you know, if you keep cutting a tree's branches, eventually the tree dies. And I'm worried for SuperSport's future. But Cesare, let me tell you something. Everybody out there, I will get Gavin Hunt on, and I will get Musamertigal on. Maybe even together. But certainly separately, I will definitely, and you'll hear it from the horse's mouth, and they're friends of mine, so I'll be able to get a little bit more out of them. But I think
I'm salivating. I'm salivating. Can you tell?
See, the Madala can bring something that excites me. So
let's get to Bafana Bafana.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
You know what? This is something positive. I really think that Hugo Broos and his team. And well done to Safo as well for not getting rid of him when people were saying get rid of him, and they gave him the time needed. And maybe that's a lesson to all club owners out there, is that Hugo has put a national team together that's become the pride of the nation again. We all want to watch Bafana. A Lesotho game X amount of years ago would have got a handful of people at the game and a very small TV audience. We expect a full house for this game, hopefully, and there'll be a big TV audience. And what we want to see from this game is that we play well, we take our chances, and we beat them by 6. Because that's how much better than we are. Now, I'm not putting pressure on the team, because a 3-0, 4-0 will be good enough. But I think that in the growth of this team, that we should be able to say we can take a team that is like a PSL team, quite frankly, and we can beat them 3, 4, 5, 6. That, I think, is in us. And I think that's not putting pressure on the boys. That just shows you how far we've come. Because this Bafana team is a proper team. They've got their structured team. He's loyal to the players who knows that can deliver. They know each other. Bafana has become what is the ideal for any national team. They've become a club team. The players understand what they're playing for. They understand the system. And when I say they become a club team, I'm not saying they become Sundowns. I'm saying that this team has got the same kind of, there's an Afrikaans word, I think it means gees.
Yes.
They've got this kind of spirit that, and Afrikaans is poor, so forgive me. But they've got this kind of spirit, and that spirit is connected with us as fans. And I actually have a proper Bafana fan. I get excited. I'm biased. And that's what this team's brought. And I think it's hats off to Hugo Broos in particular and his team. And I really want to see us hammer Lesotho, our neighbors, do the business again against Benin, get us into that World Cup qualifying, because we haven't done that for ages. I want to go to the States. I've got to start saving now. We want to be in America. We want to be there for the World Cup. So come on, Bafana, come on, Hugo. Let's get an early entry. And that's all I've got to say on the game. I'll be doing the game, incidentally. I'll be with Coach Farouk Khan and with Sepa Masila, ex-Bafana player. We'll be reviewing the game. So I look forward to seeing you guys all there as well.
Goosebumps. In fact, you've just given me a brilliant idea after this kind of speech. You literally, I just imagined you being in the locker room with Bafana now, speaking as a South African. Because what you've said now, if they would hear this from you as a person watching the game, to tell them that we are connected, they've connected us. To tell them, I mean, what you've just, as I said, I'm getting goosebumps. So you, the fans, please, be like Peter du Toit. Imagine you have the opportunity today, as Bafana about to play, to enter that changing room. What would you say to the boys? Hit us in the comment section. I'm going to pin a comment down here. Please write something, what you would say to the team for this match that they're gonna play, because Peter has just set it off for me, and it's just inspired me to ask the community to join in this conversation. Let's flood those comments. Peter du Toit, Touchscreen Trending Stories. I'm sure he gave you food for thought. We thank you very much for your time, Tata.
Appreciate it. See you again, guys. Love you lots, and I mean that from my heart.
And don't forget, SoccerBeat is your code to use. 25 Rand extra from Betway.
SoccerBeat,